And we are. Hello and welcome to the very first MFL Ramble live on YouTube. Hello and welcome to the very first MFL. Right, so sorry about that, a few teething troubles. Couldn't quite work out how to go live, but I think we're live. So Hoodwink, if you could keep an eye on the chat, that would be amazing, just to make sure that like we're not missing anything and like our voices are showing up. But welcome to the viewers for the very first time. And for the first time, I've put on my, I don't know whether you're about to see this, One So Rare Monkey jersey. So I've got my Liverpool shirt on, but we're here. So this week, joined, as you can see, just below me is Hoodwink. Hello, Hoodwink. How are you this week, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. Mark's first day at school today, so yeah, exciting day.
Yeah, you sent the picture through a while ago. Bloody hell, the kids go back to school early in Scotland, don't they? When did they break up?
I don't know, because he's just finished preschool, so he only finished on Friday, then that's started there. So I think they get maybe 7 weeks, 7 weeks.
Jesus, I'm sure my summer holidays were like 2 months or something like that. But the wee lad looked dapper anyway, and I'm sure he'll enjoy his first day and then be absolutely shattered by the time he gets home. But and as you can see, you will recognise the guest just below Hoodwink, and that is the man that's trying to make his mission to get to diamond, and that is Bob, aka OrangeFly. How are you, buddy?
Doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on. First time on stream. You know, I made sure not to take a shower or do my hair and look all natural. So this is gonna be fantastic, man.
Yeah, I did get a haircut.
Smell me through YouTube, you know.
Well, I got a haircut myself, but it looks a bit shit.
Oh, man, I got a haircut the other day because my hair, I missed my regular appointment with the wife, and the hair was going all over the place. I put a hat on. I had wings that were like curling up, like I looked like a Bee Gee, and I had a mullet that was growing down. It was bad all around. My wife wanted to start braiding my hair. It looked so terrible, and my beard was all terrible. So, yeah, man, I feel a little lighter right now. Feels good. You know, ready to talk some MFL.
Nice. And so this week I thought we would, with Bob coming on the show, originally we did have another guest lined up. Our booking agent, aka Hoodwink, had lined up a fantastic guest who I really actually want to speak to as well, especially after watching some of his videos. He was super intelligent, will be an amazing guest when he comes on. But I tuned into Wenduck this week and he was on that. So rather than having the same guest in the same week, which is something we really don't like to do, we flipped the switch and managed to get a substitute in late on. So thanks for that again, Bob. But I know you're always love to talk about MFL and everything like that. So thanks for joining us. And we'll be getting, is it Mr. K Mark? I can't remember his name now. And I only listened to Wenduck yesterday. Liam? No.
Big Mr. K.
Mr. K, yeah. But that's not his name, is it? I don't think it's like Mr. K. But yeah, he's super intelligent, and I'm sure he's got loads of stuff to speak about as well. And like some of the stuff that he spoke about this week on the Wenduck show would really sort of, piqued my interest. And he didn't really go into one subject, which I think might be interesting to talk about, but we'll save that for when he's on in a couple of weeks. But you'll have to settle for Bob this week. And Bob, it's been quite a week, hasn't it, mate? Like, I remember last season, like you were not amazingly happy with the engine, and I think figuring out an engine every season can be a bit of a tough slog, but when you do get it cracked in a season and start to work out like what might work and what won't work, it really makes sort of a big difference to your sort of level of enjoyment of the game. Although I'm sure some people love being persecuted by the fact they need to sort of like fiddle with team instructions and try and work out what's going right and what's going wrong. But this season, you've definitely cracked it with a lot of your teams. Obviously, you've got your Syracuse license, which is loaded down in Flint, which was back about a few weeks ago. I haven't checked, but I'm assuming it's top.
Yeah, I think I have like 104 goal differential after like 14 games or something like that, or 15 games. So we're doing okay. But I did concede a goal, so like that's not good.
Oh wow!
That's not good.
Yeah, 15 wins, no losses. I mean, lots of teams go like on that sort of run, but I've never seen with this many games left over 100 goals scored and 1 goal conceded. That 1 goal must hurt.
I was devastated. Like the whole season's a loss at this point. Like I don't even know what to do with myself. So yeah, what's funny about that team is I actually pulled guys off of that team and sent them to some of the friends of the podcast and friends of the Ramble to help them try to get their teams through Stone and stuff like that. Like the guys are so good, you know.
Oh, I can see.
So,
Yeah, you have downgraded it a little bit, haven't you? It's fairly OP.
yeah,
But the one thing
I
you do, which was fairly smart in my opinion, is you put older guys in there, so guys you don't necessarily expect to get much progression anyway. So you're not exactly losing out on a huge amount, are you?
Yep, that was the plan. I mean, overall, it was a matter of like these guys aren't going to progress for me. They're not like long-term fixtures within my agency. So why not run this through? Why take a risk of not winning these divisions? And quite honestly, with power creep and all the things that are happening, I can only do this, probably until we get to Stone or so, maybe Iron. And then all of a sudden, you have to switch things up a little bit. So I want to make the run as quick as possible. And mid-season, and this is kind of what I said at the start, I'll reevaluate and if I'm killing people, which I am, obviously. Like I have no problem taking people off and sending them to friends for a loan and stuff like that to try to help them progress. And usually if it's people in the Ramble, it's people that I know, we're doing very, very low rate. Just because, it is what it is. They're not progressing too much. And what's been interesting though is that I've actually had like 2+1s on that team throughout the course of the year, which is ridiculous. So, they no game experience at all, but it's all training kind of stuff. So,
well, I'm assuming they would have got some sort of match experience from cup games.
Yeah, I mean, I actually got knocked out of the cup on a last-second goal to draw with me, so I was like, oh, son of a... It was one of those scenarios where XG isn't the thing. You know what I mean? Where over the course of 2 matches against the number 1 team in the group, I think the total XG for me was like 7.5, and for him it was like 1.4, and I tied both matches. Well, what are you going to do? And this is stuff in the past, like last season and before, where I would get really frustrated. But a few weeks ago, you had Matsuyama on, and he said, Bob's like that, like, angry, average golfer that hits a bad shot, gets really pissed, and starts swearing from time to time. Then he just goes back and just hits another shot and just keeps going and having a good time. So that's really a great way to describe me and my overall state of things when it comes to this.
And I know, like this week, probably actually the most excited I've been all season. And don't get me wrong, I've had some great results and I've been sweating them. I've been super pumped over some of the cup games. But probably the most excited over MFL I got all season was watching Bob's South Korean pig side beat Big Wilbur the other day. It was a 1-0 game. And, I think Big Wilbert said afterwards, yes, you have probably got a team, which is, I wouldn't say a diamond team, but getting close to a diamond team. And you did make a couple of big moves this season, which, we can see on the right there, bringing Davidson and a couple of other sort of guys that you brought into the team. But even so, that must have been pretty satisfying beating that. I know I literally was buzzing. I was like pumping when that goal went in and like you won the game. And then yesterday, obviously, it was a step up again playing, was it Bishana Milano?
Yeah, I mean, the second best team in the entire game.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
you didn't disgrace yourselves, did you? Was it 1-0 eventually?
It was 1-0. I lost an extra time. I mean, and I had plenty of opportunities to win the match, so it showed that throughout the course of this season, one of the things I've been asking myself is I obviously want to get to Diamond, but if I get to Diamond, am I just going to get completely trounced and sent back down again? Which is usually what happens. But I think this season is showing that the gap between the Diamond teams, even the top Diamond team and the top Platinum teams, is really, really narrowing. Because throughout the course of this run, I beat 3 Diamond teams throughout the course of my Titans run. And I agree with you, David. It was super exciting. And I would say that winning in the knockout rounds of the Titans Cup was probably the top 3 of things that I've accomplished in games so far. Number 1 is the first season that I won gold and was promoted to platinum. That was awesome. Like absolutely incredible. Number 2 is when my first card hit Ultimate. That's Coma. Then number 3 was that win, the Titan Cup. Because if anyone has looked at my history in cups, I usually just like fully rotate, try to survive it. But this season, I kind of figured out my rotations a little bit, and I felt confident enough to play teams that I thought could compete. They might not be great, but they could compete. And so I actually made a chance. I made a choice to go after advancing in Titans Cup this year. I advanced in Titans Cup, won a number of games, got to the quarterfinals, and was very, very close to getting to the semi. And it would have been wild because if I had won that game against Scrub, then there would have been 3 platinum teams in the semifinals. There's 2 there already right now, which is really mind-boggling. That's how close things are.
Yeah, definitely. Well, definitely. I want to speak about sort of like getting to Diamond. Like 2 of the topics that I think we, definitely wanted to speak about today were essentially, how achievable is Diamond for the majority of MFL users. So we'll talk about that. And then how high can you go on a modest budget? And I think 2 of those things, not necessarily the Diamond question, but definitely how high can you go on a modest budget. Sorry, I can't speak. 2 of the big questions that I get asked quite a bit. And I'm sure other sort of people that help other new users, get asked that question as well. Before we move on to that, I did want to thank a couple of people. One person who, without their help, this stream wouldn't be happening. Lots of people over the years have offered to help me get on YouTube. Funnily enough, the one person that didn't help me was my YouTube streaming person buddy on the So Rare Ramble, who just said, download this streaming software and you'll work it out. But me being a spanner, couldn't work it out. Anyway, and that is Jimbo. Jimbo has been a massive help. He's done a Zoom call with me to go through everything, and without his help, and obviously, he's amazing within the community, and I can see he was in the chat earlier. I don't know whether he's still in there, but the guy has been an amazing help, and we wouldn't be live today without him. So thank you so much, Jimbo, and I appreciate you answering all of my idiotic questions that I sent through, including the one last week where we tried to go live and we were getting comical audio. I DM'd you and you spotted that I had 3 audio sources, which is the reason we were getting an echo. So anyway, thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. The other person is Andrew Laird, who probably won't remember this, but we were in what was called at the time a secret Discord for So Rare years ago. Hoodwink, you may have been in there as well, I'm not sure, but it was actually John Nellis's Discord, and I was mulling with the idea of starting doing content on So Rare, and Andrew actually pushed me at the time, saying that there is never enough So Rare content, although some people might argue that a few months ago that there was way too much, and there wasn't that much then either. But and hopefully we'll be back tomorrow doing the So Rare Ramble with a surprise guest as well, who we may be persuading to get back onto So Rare. But anyway, we're not here to speak about So Rare. We're here to speak about the Metaverse Football League, MFL. So before we go on to some Diamond chat and how high can we go, let's talk about how everything's going this week. Hoodwink, over to you, buddy. How's everything going with Edinburgh Castle? Are they still bottom of the league before I pull up their page? And nope. How's everything going with the rest of the teams?
For Edinburgh, we're actually 4 games undefeated, 2 wins, 2 draws, second bottom of the league, 4 points for safety. So I'm actually chuffed with. I drew with second in the league. Again, drew with them twice this season. Finally beat Pokerfish in a game.
Oh yeah, 2-0. Pokerfish, your bogey team.
Beats me in the cup, beats me in the league all the time. Got a really good team. So, and I've done a couple of tactical tweaks with them. I've even used I focused on the left flank. Try to kind of aim for not weakness, because it's there's no weakness, but if your left back's got 95 pace, I'm going to try and focus on the right back who's got like 80 odd pace, with my left mid that's got 90 odd pace.
And you even got a red card in that game.
I know, that was a touch and go then, but I kept a clean sheet as well. So really, although it's 14 points for 15 games, but 3 wins, 4 games undefeated. I don't think I've had a pumping any time this season. games have always been close, and I've got the worst team in the league. So I'm really chuffed that, it's not like auto relegation this long in. We've got 7 games to go, 4 points away for safety, and like my goal there was just didn't be embarrassed and try and avoid relegation. So
about this time last season, like, I was in a similar position. I think I was bottom, but I had like all of the easiest teams to play. And then I went on a ridiculous run of getting red cards early in games. It became comical. So I'm praying for you that first that red card against Pokerfish isn't the start of a similar streak, because you know what? You got 14 points. Like, you're only 4 points off mid-table.
I know, it's mad. And like I've got a good run in as well. I've got the guys pretty much. I think I've got Fragioko for MUC Sampdoria. I've actually got a good record against him. He rarely beats me, even though like he's got a quality team.
Which is his team?
Sampdoria. I'll jinx it now. They'll beat me now. And then I've got quite a few of the teams kind of. In fact, I've probably got all the teams in the bottom 6. I think I do actually. And then I've got the team in 3rd. So it's not a bad running as well. And I'm still expecting to be automatically relegated. But when I'm being competitive, I'm not optimistic, but I'm hopeful that I could stay up. But if I get relegated,
this might answer one of the questions we had early on about how high can you go on a modest budget. Because it's fair to say that like you haven't spent huge amount. I mean, you spent money that might be a lot to some people, but for MFL and trying to get to the high leagues, you haven't spent a lot of money.
No, and mine's has been spread over more than a year. Probably April last year was like my first deposit. So like what I've spent, and it's not much. Well, it's not a huge amount. It's less than Bob spent on one player this week. So and it's just been like a gradual kind of grind over almost a year and a half. So and this is probably my ceiling, I think. Like I didn't think he'll be going above silver any point soon. And it's really, when I'm in silver, it's just survival, just trying to stay there for as long as possible. And if I get relegated, then I'll go back and have some fun. But
it is fun. Like I remember last season, I thought like trying to survive relegation might just be a bit boring, but actually it's probably just as exciting, especially when you're in a league where you're a little underpowered for the league. It's just as exciting as trying to fight for promotion.
I love it. I love because it's it's a massive challenge. Like fighting for promotion is obviously a huge challenge, and I didn't expect to win the league last season. But coming up against teams like the team yesterday, it was what was my rating? I think like maybe defense like 84, mid 84, strikers like 81 or something for me. Then they're all like 88 and 89 for like defense, midfield, and attack. And like straight away you think, fuck, here we go.
Yeah, they're overpaying you and everything, aren't they?
Aye.
It's a fun challenge. That is decent.
Aye. I was 2-0 up. They scored 2 goals in first half injury time.
Well, I bet they're fuming. You had 2 shots on target, scored both goals.
But that's a good point as well, because they'd probably be fuming and blaming the engine type thing. But I set up to I didn't need to attack much. What I want to do is keep it tight at the back and then have quality opportunities. So it's tactics rather than just the engine, I think, for that one. I know people would.
Nirko, the manager is Nirko, and I apologise if you ever watched this. I wasn't laughing, but I know the feeling, and I'm sure once you've repaired your laptop or PC or whatever you're watching it on, that, if you do watch this, then yeah, I apologise for laughing. But yeah, anyway, that's a cracking result. Yeah, brilliant. Right, what about the next team then? Your perennial underachievers, Daegu.
God. I think I've lost 4 games in the league in a row. Scored 1 goal. 7th in the league. I'm 3 points away from the relegation playoffs.
And we had a chance to meet in the cup final, didn't we? But
I lost 1-0. That was a crap game as well. I just never looked like scoring.
There you go, Monkey. Made it through. Although I'm surprised. I don't know how we won 3-0 because they had a far better team. But my tactics, I won't say what they were, but they worked.
Dagu's they never do. So they're just, you know what? there's such a funny team. Played 13, won 6, drawn none, lost 7, scored 14, conceded 14. They're just a bang average team, and they were really good players. But I really need to play a bit with the tactics with him and like fix the issues. But I don't know. I just really care about Edinburgh, and that was just kind of there for development. But I'm only 6 points away for the promotion playoffs. So like, if I actually spend a bit of time and learn how to score goals, bloody hell, 14 goals in 13 games. So I really should kind of fix that. I can't. If they get relegated again, I'm just selling them.
You can't even blame that on Timmy Vaughan either, because Timmy Vaughan has been loaned to another member of this live stream, Bob OrangeFly. And although he did, Bob beat me the other day in the cup final match. Which one was it? Monkey
one of the Aspirants Cups.
One of your teams. Yeah, the Seattle team, wasn't it? Yeah. Yep. And
my Seattle team.
Timmy Vaughan was anonymous. He missed a sitter early on, and that was it for the game. He literally was just like floating around on the pitch.
He'd be floating around, pulling the centre backs into midfield, and the other guys are taking the glory, making the late runs. So that's how Timmy works.
I mean, that's fair because the other striker banged.
Exactly, because of Timmy. It's a team player.
Timmy has this like underlying ability that's not like programmed into the game. Like he's either gorgeous and everyone just can't take their eyes off him, and like they're just not tracking the ball and letting Rakovic like run behind free, or like he just farts his brains out and like no one is anywhere near what's going on, because Timmy is, like you said before, like he's really hit or miss. But when Timmy's out there, the team scores goals. Like Timmy scares them, and then like the other guys clean things up. But I mean, right now, Timmy's got 11 goals and like 7 or 8 assists. So man's putting in some good work. I like him, man. Like I hear so much about Timmy Vaughan over the years, the last few months, like years of MFL seasons. But like, I'm so happy to get to actually use him. I mean, that is the main post I put into Discord, is when Timmy Vaughan is playing a match. Like it's always at you, Hoodwink. So
he's always captained.
All praise Timmy. You have to captain Timmy. Like that's just kind of like what I promised myself that I would always captain Timmy. And now Timmy's team is making a run. They're in the semifinals, and this is the furthest I've ever made it into a cup competition. So I'm really excited about it.
Timmy Vaughan used to be black, didn't he?
He did. I tried to get him to change it, but Matt said no. I want Timmy back. And he says, no, we're not doing that.
I mean, he is like, sort of, now he just looks like he's a good looking chap, don't get me wrong, but then all of the players are good looking within this pretty much. But yeah, he's bang average, isn't he? He's just a bang average player now. A couple of progressions.
He's fantastic. Don't you dare slander him. Don't you dare slander Timmy like that. Timmy's fantastic. He's the heartbeat of my team, man. The Seattle team couldn't win a match for like the last 2 seasons, and now they're on fire. So it's all about Timmy, man. He's needed that extra spice. Yep.
What about then, like your final team then? So the Livingston Village, they are
the league.
They're leftovers, but they're pretty OP, aren't they, for Spark? If I remember,
that's a really good team. I love that team actually. It's a lot of my favourite kind of younger players and a few like old guys that are just performed really well. Top of the league, only lost 1 game, conceded 5. I think I'll play second tonight, actually. Is it tonight? I play second, and that just a
total decider, really, isn't it?
Hopefully. I can always muck these things up, unfortunately, like I did last season. In the last game, the last 10 minutes of the season, I lost the league. But if I win that, I'd be 5 points ahead with 6 games left.
I always find it quite interesting with that, because I've got 7 teams, season 7 teams. Will it be season 8 teams? Who knows? But what I find sort of interesting is that I tend to like put teams together that I think can challenge for the league. I don't want to make them too overpowered, but I want them to be competitive. And then if they get promoted, which they often do this season, I could be looking at 5 or 6 promotions. If that happens, then next season, it just keeps going up. So where do you draw the line? Like for Livingston, if they win the league, get promoted, like the players that you have in that squad at the moment probably are, depends on the league, but probably mid to like upper table ice.
I've got a lot of players. Like what I'd done with that team was capped it at 70. So there was a bit in between. So for my Spark team, I didn't want to go. I mean, it was OP, so I didn't want to go above 70 anyway, which is still OP. But and then for my team in Daegu, which is Stone, most of them are kind of 74, 75 upwards. So I've got loads of players between 70 and like 71 and 74 that are on loan. So I can upgrade it pretty easily with my guys. I'd loan out these guys instead of loaning out my better players if I get promoted. So I'd have like a decent ice team.
Would you prefer Livingston to overtake Daegu?
Oh, I mean, Daegu, man, they're just so bad. They're just like they're never going to win anything. You know what? They're just there. They're just there to put players in and hope they progress. And actually, the progression's been really good. My Cam there, the Trindaddy, he's a +3 this year. I think this is his first season, and he's +3 there. So progression goes pretty well. My goalie, I think he's he's went up to an 80 rated. He's like +3 as well this season. So like my rares are kind of performing really well then in terms of progression.
And you've got lots of your rares now reaching tier jail, which for me can be quite painful because they seem to just stay there for ages. Santos, he must be ready to pop, surely.
He finally got one stat increase, I can't remember what it was, but he's only had one all season. Shooting went up to 84.
That's normally a bit of sign of life that tier jail could be about to be cracked. He could be about to get his stick of dynamite out, whack it in the door, whack it in the wall, and break out of tier prison.
And when you see him, he's went up like +3, +3, +4, I think, over the seasons. And then at like the age of 23, went up +1, and now he's 25 and no moved. So historically, he's been going up like +3 or 4 a season. So I'm hoping if he finally breaks through, then maybe that'll be a nice bit of progression kind of quickly.
I had one like that last season that was very, very similar sort of progression. And literally last game of the season, no more games left, like nothing to play for. He made it to legendary. I felt like it was great, but it was also a bit of a rub. It's like, okay, now I've got to wait a bloody 2 weeks of real time for it to even play him again. But
and I do keep for all my teams, I do keep the top 16 really kind of close. So training conditions are usually pretty good, which I like. So
nice. Right, on to you, Bob. You've got a lot to speak about, haven't you? We've got a lot of teams, and I guess we've spoken about the Syracuse team. One question I've got for you: the Syracuse team. Would you love that team? Is that the team you'd love to get to Diamond? Obviously, you'd like to hopefully get to Diamond before that, because otherwise you're going to be waiting 7 seasons or 6 seasons. But is the Syracuse team, I'm assuming because that's where you live in real life, that's the team you'd love to have in Diamond eventually?
Yeah, born and raised in Syracuse, New York. We usually win what's considered like the golden snowball. So we get the most snow in New York State every single season. It's horrible living here. There's 7 days without clouds. No one likes it. It's like a town that's still stuck before the Industrial Revolution and the Rust Belt. There's nothing good here. So if my fictional football team in the metaverse is all that we have, then let's try to get that bad boy to Diamond. So
nice. You got to represent.
Yeah, right. So yeah, I would love to get that up there. I have guys to do that. It's just a matter of what teams am I sacrificing? Because when we started, I started with my Iron Pigs of Napoli, and they started with Iron or something like that. And right now they're fighting for a top 3 spot in gold. So, they've been progressing all the way up. So they actually have a chance, because they have the entire bottom of the table left essentially, to get into a playoff spot to potentially go to platinum, which would be insane, right? So there's a big balance.
Napoli Pigs.
That's Napoli Pigs. Yep, that's the Napoli Pigs. So that was the first team that when you and I discussed things 6 months ago when I got started, I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy an ice team. Nope. And I just bought an iron team. And just loaded
I remember that, yeah.
Legendaries and stuff like that, yeah.
Went balls deep fairly quickly.
Yeah. So that team is progressing very quick, and that team honestly has been the biggest shock this season. Was projected eighth or ninth in the league, and I thought it would be a fight just to stay up. And you know, at the end of the midseason, I was in second. I had managed to lose the first like 4 games on the bounce, which is obviously not good, but they're all against the top teams and rotating all that kind of fun stuff. So I've got a lot of bottom teams coming up. I think I can actually make a push for the top 3, which would be wild. But my agency can't really sustain 2 platinum teams, right? So,
No, I
what do
can
you guys
see that
think?
you're having to get a few loans in, like for some of your top teams now.
Yeah, and and that's the thing. So, like, when you ask the question about is it feasible to get up and play up higher, the answer is yes, it is. But I would say that anyone that wants to do that either needs to come in and splash money immediately or become better known in the community so people are willing to give you loans. That's a big part of like what I've been able to do by coming on your show so much, by going on When Dirt, by going on other shows with Ryan and other people. People start to understand and know who I am. So my daily conversations are with people that have the cards that I can loan in. It's like my goalkeeper that's really helped me push in gold is loan from Fred Yoko. So it's stuff like that that have allowed me to continue to advance up.
And so
So
the team I'm looking at there, so your highest rated player in the Napoli Pigs is 91 rated, going down to like the backup keeper is 84, but
yep.
generally it's pretty tight between sort of 89 and sort of 86 for the rest of the team.
Yep.
How, like, you said you were predicted towards the bottom of the table. Is that a competitive team or like, because like, I'm looking at that team and like with a bit of progression and, a couple of seasons down the line, I might have a team similar to that.
Mm-hmm. That's a competitive team for me. I've structured that team in a way that I wasn't expecting it to be good. Then I got out and I won like the first 4 or 5 on the bounce. I tied Sturge's team, which is gold team is better than my platinum team. And I was like, this team could actually make an impact on here. So I reinforced them at the midseason break. I think I got 3 loans that came in, really solidified because honestly, I was running with 2 center backs and 2 center mids. So there's no way to actually rotate those guys. So I was all over the place and it was still working. So whatever happened with my setup and the guys that I have, it's been good, right? So, there's a lot of wonder as to why that is. I can't actually put my finger on it, but I think I figured some things out this season that make me relatively comfortable. And one of the things is don't watch the games because I would have things to yell at if I just lose. So that's really what it's come down to with that one. So yes, that team is competitive, David. You need to spend a lot of time on that. And as you know, I probably run thousands of friendlies. And that one started off, I remember that team not knowing what to do. And I said to myself, I need to find a solid rotation that I can run consistently. And I've watched people like Sturge run 4-4-2. I've never been able to figure out a 4-4-2. I've watched people like Ronan run a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. And I had the tools to run a 4-1-2-1 narrow. I had the tools to run a 4-1-2-1-2. So I worked in the off season to figure out what would work there. And then I somehow magically on my plat team played a friendly against Ronan's Meta Mercenaries with my version of 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. I beat them and I was like, yep, we're using this the rest of the season. So that's my 4-1-2-1-2 with slight tweaks for each team, my narrow and my wide version that I use throughout my entire system. So what it allows me to do is on teams like I have a team in Flint that basically just plays 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, 4-1-2-1-2 wide. I just swap out my wings and my center mids and my backs occasionally. Like that's it. They stay the same. They continue to win, and it works. And that team, believe it or not, is my training grounds team that made the semis of one of the cups. So like, it seems to be working. So there is a way to do it. That gold team is a great example of it, and it spends a lot of time testing against people like Black, who happens to be in the semifinals of the Titans Cup, and he's leading his platinum division. So testing against people that are really, really good so I can really fine tune and figure out what'll be a good base. Is kind of how I approached that team specifically.
And so,
But,
like, you know, obviously, so how are you doing generally? Some of the other teams, like Gondomar, they're winning. I'm assuming they're going to get promoted. They've obviously got an 8-point gap at the moment. So if they go from bronze to silver next year. So at the moment, you'd have a silver, gold, and platinum team. Obviously, promotion still isn't off the cards for the Napoli Pigs. What about the Korean Pigs? Obviously, you dropped points in the last 2 league games. Which probably was a little bit frustrating for you. And I guess that sometimes happens, doesn't it? When you've got the big cup games and you're thinking like the amount of MFL on the line. You know, I think like from that win on Sunday, was it an extra 80K? Like winning this game last night or yesterday would have been another 100K MFL.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking a lot of MFL there, and you can get some pretty decent packs with that. Do you think that's affected your results?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, so if I'm not in the Titans Cup, right, I am playing my 93 goalkeeper who saves everything, as opposed to my 89 goalkeeper who can't stop a cold. And, you know, I drew 2-2 with North London Novas. Buddy Brandon owns that team, and his team was in second, so it's not like he was a slouch in the league, right? He's just behind me or just around me in the Plat League right now. But he had 2 shots against me when I pretty much dominated most of the possession and the opportunities throughout the course of the game. He had 2 shots, and my very special keeper couldn't save anything. So those are the scenarios where you say to yourself, man, if I had my 93, my stud keeper in there, odds are he saves one of those, I win that match 2-1. You know, but these are the kind of things that in the past I would have been fuming about.
And you've got 2 absolutely massive games coming up tonight and tomorrow night, playing the team with just above you tonight, 2 points ahead of you, and then the team the day after, which is 3 points ahead of you and in second place.
Correct. And so both of those teams, if I beat them before. But with those managers, I mean, I'm playing against Dio and I'm playing against Frage. Like, they both know what they're doing. They both have a decent idea of what I'm going to do. So how do I tweak it enough to get the results that I need while rotating appropriately? So that's the tough part when you get up to the top. And I mean, it's a tough part throughout the entire game. But there are limited resources, and you try to figure out where you're best suited with your player. And I said yesterday, I think that I can rotate a couple players because I'm going to need them. So I think I rotated my CDM or something like that and my goalkeeper. And there was just a mix of guys that I had to rotate, just get a little rest. And I had like my 88 center mid instead of my 90. Like these things, they have a slight impact on it, you know. But again, when I'm looking at the end of the game, I can go to bed at night at the end of this season knowing that of the games that I lost and the games that I drew, statistically, if you would read it on paper, you'd say there's no reason for Bob to lose these games. So I'm confident that the work and research that I put in have created the play that I expected it to create. The outcomes don't always show up as you want. Like, and we know that. Like, sometimes it just happens. You know, sometimes your goalkeeper, was on a bender the night before because he wasn't expecting to play, and he lets people easy shots go through. You know, so they're frustrating, and those are the games you look back on. But I look at this, and I know that if I win tonight, if I win tomorrow, I'm pretty solidly in like second place in that league, in that Plat League. So like the opportunities are there. So I can't really cry about spilled milk. You know, I can be frustrated that I lost 3 games in the front half of the season against 3 of the 4 worst bottom teams in the league. That's really, really frustrating, especially when you were statistically the better teams in all of the matches. But it is what it is, you know. So this team has a chance. It could finish anywhere from second to probably 9th. You know what I mean?
And if you finish second, then you'll then be playing one of the bottom teams in. Hang on, how does it work in there?
If you finish second, you play the second place team in the other Plat division.
And then winner
So,
of that then plays.
winner of that goes straight up.
Okay.
You lose that, then you have to play a couple more matches in the third place area, and then you would eventually, to get up, you'd have to play the team that finishes the ninth in Diamond, which currently is Frag. So I mean, obviously Frag is a buddy of mine. I don't want to see Frag go down, but I would certainly like to get into Diamond. And
Well, Frag has got Bologna as well, hasn't he? So he's second place at the moment in Platinum.
Yep. So, at the end of the day, I have a good team. What's crazy about my team, David, is that I loaned out my 92 right back, my 92 center mid, or my 92 center back, and my 96 center mid. So, like, if I actually kept all my guys, I think that my team would be pretty strong.
And obviously, the flip side of that is that you're going to be getting a decent chunk of MFL from Diamond, which is huge. However, you could have had, like the Korean Pigs in Diamond next season, which would have been even huger. Where do you sit on that now as a decision you made?
I think I made the right decision. I think no matter what you do, because you can't predict how things are going to go. I trust myself to be competitive and to fight for it. And I think that with the guys that I have, I'm in that position. If I said to myself at the midseason break, you're going to buy a 93 goalkeeper and a 95 left back, I might have kept the players and went full force for Diamond. But simultaneously, of those three players that I sent, one of them made the quarterfinals in the Titans Cup. Two of them, the other two, both made the round of 16. They won like a handful of games each. So I'm getting a big chunk of MFL from those matches alone. So I think after my Titans Cup run, I think I get somewhere around the lines of like 250,000 MFL just from the Titans Cup. That's wins on my team and loans from the other team, which is pretty insane. Comes right down to it.
What total do you reckon, as it stands, where all your teams are now, what total do you reckon you would end up with MFL for the season?
I checked Metafixer before the games yesterday, and it was somewhere around 750,000 is where I was sitting. So keep in mind, my Orange Training Grounds made the semis in the Aspirants Cup. Timmy's team, Seattle Supersonics, made the semis in another version of the Aspirants Cup, and Gondomar beat White House's team, the Silver Club, to get to the semifinals of the Contenders Cup. So that's a lot more that's getting piled up too, with 3 more matches to potentially get to my first ever finals in a cup. And so that's one thing I've never done in this game is win a cup. So when you ask, hindsight's always 20/20. I think I made the right decision from an MFL perspective and a progression perspective to put my guys in that. So I think I'm happy with that. And Takasaki, my right back, he actually, because he's been playing for 3X up in Diamond, he actually went up to 92 this season, is continuing to progress. So these are the things.
Would you keep them next season?
Oh, yeah, 100%. They are going to be on my team next season because I'm close. I made the moves now that indicate I'm ready to push to Diamond, right? So I have to take the opportunity while it's here.
And you got this last season for Coma, so now or never, really, isn't it?
2 seasons. Yep.
Sorry, 2 seasons for him, isn't it?
So
Dion Frio, whatever. He'll be
D'Onofrio. Yeah, he's a guy I will loan him probably to a Diamond Club next year. Because he's going to be retiring, and I replaced him with my 95 left back, Davidson.
Of course, yeah.
There was a reason. I had a massive hole at left back that had to be filled, and I saw the opportunity. There was a chance there. Scrub and I talked quite a bit, and he doesn't like to give up his ultimates, and we came up with a good deal. We made it, and we pushed through, and so I'm really happy with it, and we'll see what happens. So my team is built to try, and I mean, if I am somehow fortunate enough to finish in a playoff spot in Platinum and make a run to Diamond, that would be fantastic, because I know that I can beat any Diamond team that's out there. I think that my run through the Titans Cup has proven that I can. Playing Visconti Milano, Scrubs team, into extra time without giving up, without conceding a goal, beating Big Wilbert's Tango, beating BFC Barcelona. Like, I can make a run into a diamond. I can beat a diamond in a one-on-one.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know for certain, but I would imagine that most of the community that pays any attention to Diamond would love to see another manager up there that's really sort of taking it seriously and, trying to compete, because I know that, listening to When Dirt Cast on a Jimbo, isn't over the moon with having these sort of farm teams in there, because it does become a little bit frustrating. If you look at the league, there's teams that are going to get relegated. Now, I completely understand why they do it. And if I had the money, I'd probably do it myself as well, because if it makes sense to farm MFL that way, then you're going to do it. MFL obviously have increased the averages for that you need to be in each division next season. I don't really see it making a massive difference. It wasn't a massive increase, and I think even if you had those players at the minimum, that you'd probably still get relegated anyway. Because what was it up to 88? Was it or something like that?
It's like 88. Yeah, like you're not winning in Diamond with an 88 typically. Now, here's the deal though. Like, we talk about the Diamond Heist-ish type team. And currently in Platinum, we have Sturge, who's trying to get back to Diamond. So he's clearly got a mid to high Diamond team that's capable of winning a lot of matches. So he's not going to be Diamond Heisting. Black is in a very similar position. Now, Black was able to get some loans from Sturge to come in and get a couple ultimates loaned in, so he's definitely pushed to the top. But his tactics are sound. He just beat Meta Mercenaries Ronin's team in the Titans Cup, so
and we've got fighting second in Platinum 2, who I believe Hoodwink is a guest next week. Is that right?
I think so.
For who, sorry?
Sid.
Sid. It's next week.
Yeah.
So, Sid's there. So Black is set to go up. So, I mean, like, in a perfect world, it's like me versus Sid to go to Diamond. Is kind of like what we're looking at. And I can tell you that if I get up and Black goes up, and Sturge goes up, you're going to have 3 people that have Diamond capable teams that are not looking to come back down right away. So that would be
good for the game.
It would be a big shift in Diamond, and who knows, maybe all 3 of us come straight back down again. But at least Diamond would have to be very well aware that there are 3 teams coming up that no one's to run a pushover anymore. That there are no matches where you can rest guys. And just
I would be I'd go to the MFL bookmakers and stick a bit of MFL on you staying up next season if you did get promoted. Just because I trust you. You probably wouldn't be cracking the top half of the table, but you'd definitely be surviving.
Well, and the question comes down to also that if I'm able to make Diamond, this is what I kind of talked about a little while ago, building the community around you to get those loans. So if I'm able to get to Diamond, is there a chance that one of those guys that are not using them, that are just like throwing their great players down to Platinum, they're not really interested in going up? Like, can I get a loan for some of them? Can I get, instead of using a secondary 90 CM, can I get a 93 that's kind of like sitting around, just like mucking around at Platinum right now? It's kind of like not progressing. Like, where is there a possibility of it? And like, this is kind of what I'm looking at and what I'm considering, because there's a lot that goes into it. You need some great strikers. My strikers have not been good enough right now, although they magically score headers and cracking shots. So I don't know, man. This is all hypothetical. I have to get there, and I'm hoping I have this window with Coma to get there. So I have basically this season and then 2 more seasons is what I look like to get.
Strikers always seems to be a bit of a shortage within the game. I remember last season when I got promoted to silver, I was like desperately hunting, speaking to all of the big players about sort of getting a legendary striker, and they just said, listen, 84 striker I could probably do, but I can't do a legendary striker. I just don't have enough to fill my own teams. And there's a real shortage with like retirements and stuff. I guess that it will take time, but the power creep that has happened over the last few seasons will reach a sort of inflection point when like it will start to come down again, because those top players are retiring and there isn't enough top players then to just automatically replace them, which is why you see people like Ronan doing big deals, bringing in people for the future, not necessarily for now, because he needs players for when those big guys retire. Now, I think he hasn't even got that many that are close to retirement, but he's still like, splash of the week. shout out Wendirk. He's often on there, like bringing in the big guys, and then often like the younger guys, because he's looking at progression, building a team, building a dynasty that can go on and on. But and that's what you need to do to stay up there permanently. But yeah, you're right. I think next season for you is like, hopefully you get promoted this season, but if not, next season will be like the point when like it has to happen.
Yeah, then that's. I mean, if I get promoted this season, then this is the best season I've ever had. But if not, it'll be it. I'm having a good time. Like I said, today's match against Dio will really drive a lot of what's going on. And I'm not holding my breath. It's going to be one of those matches where I don't watch any. I look at the final score and I hope that my Japanese character, my Korean characters pop up on the screen and say that Iron Pigs of Seoul have won the match. Like, that's kind of what I'm hoping for. And, we'll see what happens. Dropping a lot of points doesn't help. I could be in a much better position right now, but my keeper hasn't been good the first half of the season. And I also rationalize like spending a lot of money on a 30-year-old keeper because my keeper just wasn't good enough. It wasn't up to par to promote out of Platinum. And I like, and you make that realization, and I'm not one that's going to sit around. I was okay making that deal for a goalkeeper because the goal is promotion. The goal is clearly not being economical on my end. It's getting to the top and competing. And when you have big gaps in your team that are stopping you from competing, you have to do something about it. So there's some logic behind it. I mean, is it smart? We'll see. If I make it to Platinum, it's Platinum. If I make it to Diamond, it's smart. I mean, and the crazy scenario, dude, is, say I make it into Diamond this season and somehow my gold team promotes to Platinum, and then all of a sudden my bronze team wins and I'm in silver again. Like, I don't have the players to field.
Yeah, it's going to be a headache next season.
Straight back down. And honestly, you did mention, we talked about bronze a little bit. Bronze is the highest match that I actually watched live. I don't watch the gold matches live, and I don't watch the platinum matches live. I just watched the replay and I couldn't do it yet. But the bronze match, I love that bronze league. It is so much fun. Jack, Work the Space, and I, we're both in that league. We're in the top 2 spots. We talk to each other all the time about strategy and all the things that we're doing. And that league is a ton of fun because there's a lot of guys on that team that were initially on that first Iron Pigs of Napoli team when I was in Iron that have not progressed at all. Like, they haven't moved a bit. A lot of the same players that started there in Iron, they're playing in bronze and they're leading in bronze right now. I mean, there's at least 8 of them that all started on that initial team that won the first season of Iron. So that is one of those that like has a lot of meaning because they're from my first team. This team is playing great now. They have an opportunity, and it means a lot if they can win it. I'm 8 points clear with like 7 to play. So fingers crossed, and honestly, from a completionist perspective, I want to win every single league in MFL. Every single league. So Flint, I think I'm going to win Flint this season, right? I've already won Spark, already won Ice, already won Stone, already won Iron, already won Silver, already won Gold. And so Bronze is the one that's left that is reachable. There's Bronze, Plat, and Diamond. So we've got big things to do here. So I want to win this Bronze League really, really bad. I want my guy, George Sim, my Scott that has got 2 stat upgrades over the course of 5 seasons to actually do something more because he is fantastic and he looks like a unit of a man. Just like my front line, they look like NFL football players in America.
He looks like a Scottish player. He looks like a Scot, doesn't he? He looks like the kind of guy, what the fuck, who are you looking at?
Oh, yeah, he's the guy you want to go out to the pub and have a pint with, and he's just going to smash people. But I love it. Then his counterpart, Willie Van Dorp, just big, bushy beard man that's really fast somehow. Makes no sense. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun with that team. And it's, I don't know, man, switching through and that team again, 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, 4-1-2-1-2 wide, 3-4-3, 3-4-3 diamond, 3-5-2, rotations. Those are the 5 team lineups and formations I typically run with a lot of my teams. Occasionally you get a 4-4-3 or 4-3-3-D, that's mixed in there. But that's how I base my teams, man. And it's worked out quite a bit because
I don't really run a 4-3-3, a 4-3-4-3, but I really should do more because I know it works well against certain formations. So I just never get around to using it. But
well, part of it comes down to rotations too. I don't. You've talked about this before when I was on the pod. I don't have the LB RB type players that can swap through and get rotation as I'm using those guys. So I need to go to a 3 at the back formation from time to time.
yeah.
You know, and so it's just what's nice is I think that people would normally run their left back and right back down to like 92, then they'd rest them and get them back up to like 96. Whereas no one has any idea what I'm going to do it. Sometimes I'll do it at 98. Sometimes I'll do it when they're at 94. You know, like, so part of being unpredictable is a big part of this. And it's one of the things that Rob was kind of talking about in Diamond Chat yesterday. The fact that you see a lot of upsets in the Titans Cup because it's hard to prepare for teams that you don't see all the time. Like, Scrub knows that in Diamond, Ronan's playing 4-1-2-1-2 narrow, or he's rotating to this 4-2-2. 4-2-2-2. He knows that Joe B is playing 4-4-2. He knows that Sturge is playing 4-4-2. Those are a little bit easier to prep for because you know what's going to happen. You understand how these teams work and how the managers do things. But when you have a manager like me or Big Wilbert that's really random and can play a lot of different formations, it's not easy to plan for. You're essentially playing like formation roulette and you're hoping that you hit. And so that's part of what happened yesterday. You know, his team is much better than mine, but we both hit formations that kind of countered each other, and it was a very tight match, you know. And so, I don't know. Having the ability to run 3-4-3, David, is fun. It's wide open. It's a lot of goals. It's pretty exciting when it comes right down to it, in my eyes at least. It's also extraordinarily frustrating trying to figure out how to get the defense to work because when it doesn't work, like the worst thing you want is like an early goal scored against you because your defender's like, yep, nope, I'm out. And then you lose like 5-0. Like, oh, okay. That sucked. So, what do you do?
I guess like the one question that we had at the start then was how achievable is Diamond for most users? I guess you're the only one on the show that's qualified to answer that. So what's your opinion?
I don't think Diamond is accessible.
And probably shouldn't be either.
Right.
I mean,
I don't. Diamond is not accessible unless you are willing to come in and spend $50,000 plus to buy a Diamond license and buy a lot of guys that are way too expensive. If you're willing to spend $6,000 on Davidson and $4,000 on Coma and like $4,000 on Ronan's guys, like some of us will sell them because it makes sense financially to do so and you can reallocate those resources. But that's the kind of stuff it's going to take to get in and be competitive. You know, so winning up is tough. The people that you see that are trying to win their way up more so than most are obviously me. I've talked about it a lot. Black does a lot of the same things that I do. He's trying to win his way up. Those are the first two that come to mind because a lot of the people in Platinum too, they're diamond managers that use Platinum to kind of like feed their guys up, get progression, move guys up, move guys through. So you'll see progression from people like us. You will see teams like BFC Manchester have an actual push occasionally to make it to Diamond. You know, and those are DAO allocated resources. And shout out to Joka and BFC Manchester for beating MFC Roma in the quarterfinals of the Titans Cup yesterday. And their man Hosseini, who I used and we pushed up to 93, just hit 94 before. So like they're on a great roll. So shout out to them. But yeah, it's really tough, man. And you have to have a community there. You have to have a community of people you know, and you have to be patient for it. And you need to win a lot. So, I mean, there's time because you start in Flint and try to win your way up, or you buy an iron and try to win your way up. It takes a lot of time. You know, it takes a lot of seasons because it's not like you're just going up and you're winning every single division the first time. You need some progression. My Napoli team stalled out in silver for a year finished like 5th or 6th, and then they won the league the next season. Now they're in gold. Like these things do happen, and you have to be willing to give up rev share, which I don't think many people are. I know our buddy Hoodwink is very reluctant to give up any sort of rev share on his players and teams. I get it. And I am very clearly the opposite way. I'm like, 30%? Sure, here, take it, guys. Because I want the players on my team, understanding where the benefits come into play. So
I've got one guy loaned in across all of my teams. And yeah, I'm exactly the same. I would rather sort of like, I think last season I looked for a forward, couldn't get one. And I think, okay, well, I'll save up some money and try and buy one. And I did get one at the end of last season. Obviously a little bit too late. And he's done really well for me this season in bronze. Unfortunately, like for me, like this season's been a bit of a mixed bag, especially in bronze, because I've tried to focus on the cup and then like frustratingly got knocked out of the cup. I made some idiot mistakes in there, like including fielding like my backups one game, thinking that I would cruise through, and didn't quite happen. But now I'm making a run in the league, so I'd love to get promoted again this season. But yeah, it is tough. Like I just don't like giving away percentages.
This season, I'll give away 30% with my silver team, but I'd never really done that before. But like I knew with my team strength that I had, I knew that I would have been bottom. I would have stayed bottom, but I've managed to get, I think, maybe 8 players on loan, something like that, for 30%, and a few Legos, which I thought was quite good business. So although I hate giving it up, this one I was quite sensible. Like I wouldn't my Spark team and my Stone team didn't need. There's no point getting that away because I'm loaning out better players than would go in there. But for silver, I've not got the players for it, so it made sense to give up a decent amount, not too much.
Well, and you guys both loan out a lot of cards. So like what I look at is I look at my loans out and my loans in. And if they're within, X percentage, I'm really happy with that. So like I think that number for me is always I'm either like plus, X loans in or minus X loans out. It's not like a big percentage of my total that's going in and out even. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Like if I am for loans going in and out, if I'm less than like 5% difference either way, I'm perfectly happy. It's kind of like a net neutral situation, which is again one of the reasons also, David, that I felt okay sending out guys to platinum, to good teams, but to not only platinum, gold, and diamond to bring in those loans. And those were all in teams that won a lot of games in the cups, like advanced and all that kind of stuff. So there's a balance between the two. So
that's quite interesting. I've never really thought about it that way, but at the moment, I think I've got this season. It's a little bit lower than last season. It's like 18 to 20,000 MFL coming in from loans. But I've never really thought about it that way. Of like, the money you have coming in from loans, you then like get loans in yourself to make your best teams better. And therefore, like your income is just MFL from leagues, and then like the loans offset each other. It's quite a smart way of thinking about it.
Yeah, and so this is how I always rationalize it because like I don't want to send these players. Like I'd like to use them, but I also understand that there's opportunity. So me sending somebody like Van Dorp to Hoodwink's team or to a silver team that's going to give me 10% and they're going to finish mid-table, then I can bring in a 6%, 83 striker into my bronze team instead. At 6%. And so like, I'm making a lot more there. And I'm not really losing a lot of the difference in the value of my strikers and stuff like that. And so I'm trying to balance that way. And what that allows me to do is that, when I need a goalkeeper on my gold team, I'm willing to give out like 8% loan on my gold team because I know that I've sent out so many guys on loan that it'll cover up the difference in those. And winning in gold is much higher up. And so I'm more willing to take loans I like to do loans at the top end because like there's a lot more to win when you get up there. But you also look at my teams. I take loans in on every single team. You look at my Iron Pigs of South Korea team, it's like 62% loan. But that's because I put every single one of my guys at like 2 to 4% loan in case they sell somebody. You know what I mean? It's like that's where that stuff comes from. But like 25, 30% of that team is out on loan. Whereas I have like 30% of loans that go out to diamond too, right? So like it all balances itself out. It allows me to stay net neutral, more or less, and still get in good guys to play in all the different areas to try and progress. Because I've said it once, I've said it a million times. Like, my goal is progression. My goal is winning. My goal is winning that bronze league. My goal is fighting with my stone team from relegation. I was in relegation at the start of the second half. Now I'm in like third right now. So like that team started clicking, and those are the fun things in this game, and it's why the bottom half is just so much fun to watch and see what happens, because you simply don't know. You never know what Timmy Vaughn's going to do.
Nothing.
Or have a smasher like he did yesterday and score 2 goals with an assist. You know, like this
Really?
is
Nice.
yeah. He's pumping, man. He's pumping.
Nice. Right.
Yeah.
Before we talk about how high like the averages you can go, I'll just give you a quick update of mine. So Funky Monkey, as you can see on screen, they are annoyingly went out the cup as well in the last game. So close to getting all 7 teams through. So it was super frustrating that last day. We beat Calvinator yesterday. Sorry, Calva. And we're looking pretty good for promotion back to bronze. It's been a little bit like, so my team's actually are in pretty low divisions this season. My best team being in bronze, and I've got 2 in iron. So Funky Monkey, slightly underpowered. The Thunder, they are, but now they're at the cup as well. They got knocked out yesterday, which is the only like cup loss I had yesterday. I can focus in on the league. Don't know whether we'll get promoted. I don't even know whether I'd want to get another team in bronze. I'd love to have 1 in silver, bronze, and a couple in iron next season, but we'll see how we go. We've had a couple of players with decent progression on that team. Bebe Monkey, who I'm thinking of rebranding for the cost to come in, looks like they'll get promoted. Only lost 1 game. They are still in the cup as well. So we've got cup semi-finals tomorrow. So that will be fun for them as well. That was the league where we could have played Daegu in the final if they'd come through. Monkey Kings definitely won't get promoted because top of the league is Dio with his hometown club from Heronveen. So he's done exactly what Bob's done with his Syracuse team and absolutely stacked it, I believe. Yeah, look, he's got legendary in there, and that's a fairly good ice team. So he's got 1 legendary and the rest of them are all rares. So yeah, that's pretty good. So they're going to get promoted, although not quite as good a record as Bob's in with Flint with his rare team. But Monkey Kings, they could do okay, I guess. Like they obviously got knocked out oh no, it wasn't that team. I can't remember which team it was that got knocked out. Oh, I thought this was a team that got beaten. Oh, sorry, I'm looking at Heronveen. Monkey Kings obviously lost to Seattle Supersonics and Timmy Vaughan the other day. So I don't know whether they'll get promoted or not. But then we've got the next team, the Vikings. They are in the cup, looking for a League and Cup double, still unbeaten. And the star boy of the agency is Vito Coppola. He's absolutely smashing this season. He's had a little bit of progression as well. So he's now at 69, but I think he's like 80 rated right winger. So he's perfect for the cup. But I think he's like, 13 games, 26 goals and 11 assists across all competitions. So he's looking for the cup in league and cup. And then the Matadors, which is basically like still an okay team, but they're top of the league, but it's not like a great team. But then it's probably still a little bit overpowered for them, and they'll get promoted as well from Flint. So should I get another Flint team? Should I get another license for season 8? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. What are your guys' plans for season 8? Like any more teams for you, Bob?
I mean, I'm going to say no, but that probably means yes.
Never say never.
I don't know. I mean, there is a chance, not a good chance, but a chance that I could promote every single team this season. That would be 8 teams, which would be nuts. It's a lot of work, honestly. Like, I don't know how Trust the Process does it. I don't know how people with tons of teams can spend any sort of realistic time. I know how Trust does it. Talked about it on his streams, but that's not how I function within the game. Like, my goal is winning. So like I'm spending time every match figuring out what my opponent is going to do next and how I'm going to counter and what I'm going to do. That's at the higher levels. That's start and bronze. I think that kind of goes back to the question you asked before, David, like how far can somebody really go? And I really think that there's a pretty significant gap between going from iron to bronze with the amount of time you have to put in. And then there's a big financial difference going from bronze to silver, which Hood kind of referenced to, where you need to bring in a lot of bones on legendary characters in there. So I don't plan on adding more teams. I say that now, knock on wood. I'm having fun with these teams. But, I may sell some guys because, I might have lower guys to go through, but I'm also finding that I'm not getting a ton of progression on Flint teams because, as it turns out, when you put 80s in a Flint team, they don't progress very much. So even like my bad Flint team, like is my Orange training grounds, and I think they're set in second place right now, like in the semifinals of a cup. They run one formation, but that's it. Like all they run is 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. That's it. But I just have guys for it. But they're not high rated. Like they're all like 59, 60-ish type players, but I guess that's too high for Flint, So I don't know. It is what it is. It's been fun at the bottom end, and the bottom end is like stress relief, quite honestly. And we're joking around about the goal differences with my Saltine Warriors team, my Flint Syracuse team. I mean, I put an over-under on 14 and a half games as to when I would hit 100 goals in the league. And after game 14, they were at 96. Like, they didn't come through because there feels like there's a sort of cap, like a soft cap, where the AI basically stops trying to score goals for you. Like, once you get up by 7, it kind of slows down a little bit. So you don't get a lot of, like, 9-0 wins and stuff like that. So
I've noticed that actually, like in matches where like you score like 6 goals or 7 goals in the first half, it's rare that you actually get loads more in the second half.
Exactly. Like they just got to hold the ball because they're so much better. So I did the simple maths, what's 7 times 14? Okay, that's 98. So like, am I going to get it in under 14? Am I getting it in 14 games or am I getting it in 15 games? It was 15 games. I came up just short in my tallies. So there was it's different. It's stress-free. I know that I feel bad and I wholeheartedly apologize to all the people that are playing against me, but I'm happy.
Your leading scorer is your right winger. He's got 40 goals.
he's played like 8 games, right?
That is mental.
Yeah, I mean he's playing pretty well as it turns out. So they do a lot of fun things. I use center mids on that. Center mids.
Have you had any people moan that are in that division?
If they have, they haven't DM'd me or anything like that. I mean, it sucks, but like, what are you gonna do? You fight for second place, and you hope that you only lose 5-0 instead of 9-0. That's kind of like what it is. Like, people are going to get smashed against me, and
it's Tornado. If he's in second, isn't he? Isn't that Sonny, the guy that was on Wenduck a couple of weeks ago, the FM streamer?
Is it?
I think so. Yeah.
Oops, my bad. Yeah, it's if I was able to just put that team in gold, I would do that. If they let me say, if they said, hey, if you want to switch your cities around and transfer your license from your South Korean team to this team, would you do it? I would actually think about it. I'd probably transfer the Italian license in gold first because I don't know. I like the fact that no one has any idea what the name of my platinum team is in South Korea because it's just a whole bunch of Korean characters, So it's funny because people have DM'd me. They're like, I'm putting together tweets about your team. I copy it in and AI is reading it to me. Why is it Iron Pigs of Soul? I'm like, there you go. So
have you started DMing Matt and the MFL team asking for a free pack?
No. Nope. I don't do stuff like that, man. Like I don't know. I just keep playing.
A lot of people that do unbeaten in a season, isn't there? It's generally, I've done it a couple of times, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like if I were a content creator and like doing giveaways, like that's the only reason that I'd want that would ask for something like that. Like no matter how much I complain about the game and the engine, there are things that need to be fixed. I am still of the opinion that every year it gets a little bit better, a little bit better. The defense gets a little bit better, and so you have to look at how goals are scored, and they've done a better job of that. And I'm watching on the experimental engine, like what's happening. By the way, I don't like VAR in the game. I don't think it needs to be more dramatic. Like I sent some screenshots and videos in our
I said
Discord
that to Jimbo. It's like when,
about
because
it.
at the moment when it happens, it feels like it just happens incidentally. It's like, offside and then the goal gets chalked off. I would like to see like VAR review come up on the screen, like 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, offside or goal or offside, just a little bit of like, suspense.
Yep.
It doesn't need to be long, but just a little bit.
And you know what? They have the foundation to do that. I think that maybe that's the next engine. Stuff like
The one thing that's frustrated me this season, and that hasn't been much with the engine, to be honest with you, even when I've lost games, you lose games. That's just going to happen. The only thing is just like the passing, like sometimes like passes, from guy with like, 90 plus passing and he'll pass and it would just be like that. Why is that pass gone in that direction? Like, he's aiming for a certain person and he hits the corner flag on the other side. And from my limited experience and the few friendlies I've run in the new engine, the experimental engine, it does look like they've smoothed out some of the passing. Although, as I said, like my sample size is quite small at the moment.
Oh, mate, you're going to like it. It's so they're doing more. So you're getting some plays where your right mid or your right back is flying up the wing, is flying up the side, and they're crossing onto an incoming run from your center mid, striking through and making a run through, or your striker running off of the guy and running in behind and trying to time an offsides. It's actually really, really like you see these goals develop. And it's different than it's happening now, whereas a slow ball dribbles by like 3 defenders and it very slowly rolls there, and your goalkeeper's like, should I take the thumb out of my ass and go get it? No. And then the striker comes on and just smacks it in. Like that's not how goals are being scored in the experimental engine right now. Like there are some really clean and crisp goals, which is what I complained about a couple of seasons ago, and I'm really happy with that. It looks really cool.
It does step up every season. Like it does improve like parts of it. And, I look forward to sort of testing with it a bit more. I guess, Hoodwink, we didn't ask you, any new clubs this season, next season? I imagine I know the answer.
Well, maybe. Like the thing is, like for my competitive teams, 3 is a sweet spot for me. When I had 4, I just didn't enjoy any of them. Now I've got 3. I enjoy that, but I'd possibly get one, maybe like a Spark license, maybe, and do like a under 23, maybe high commons or low limiteds, maybe, and one that's just a bit of fun and you're hoping for progression and hoping for promotion, obviously, but without having to like I spend far too long on tactics and stuff like that and testing and. Like I'm talking like hours. If I'm doing like a complete overhaul, it's hours and hours. And I wouldn't do that with a team like that. And I think I do with Livingston.
But you can mirror them across, like, for me, like, and I think Bob has said this as well, like, I'll have one tactic, I'll work on it for Monkey Magic and like the top teams. And then once I get it figured out from my point of view, I'll mirror it across all of the teams. Like, obviously it's player dependent, but it does take.
That's the thing. Like when I was doing that the last few seasons, I thought it was a great idea, but it didn't really work. And it really is just different level of players and that kind of thing. It just doesn't work like for. In fact, even my formation didn't work with Daegu. Although I wish I'd stuck with it because now I'm stuck with the 3-5-2-B and it's going a bit tits up. I do like Livingston and Edinburgh play very similar, but it's quite a lot of tweaks because of the player stats basically. So potentially I might get one, but a fun one rather than but I'm competitive as well, and that's the problem. That's when I get to 4 and if I go on a losing run, I'm going to spend time trying to fix it. And
that's exactly the problem I have. I got a team to stick in Flint this season. I thought, right, I'll just stick all of my dev guys that have come out of dev jail and literally aren't good enough to go anywhere else, and that's not what happened. I ended up putting a team in there that's capable of winning the league.
It's like with Daegu. I want them to be competitive, and I hate losing, But at the moment, I didn't want to spend that. Like, I didn't want to spend hours playing friendlies and 3-5-2 this late in the season and just. But I need to, because they're so bad. Like, I'm not obviously not want to get relegated with them, but I just want them to stay mid-table and just move on to next season. But if I had a team just fully like youngsters, and again, I didn't want them to be struggling, even if it's like, even if there's good teams in the league, and I'm not going to get promoted, I still didn't want to be losing every game. So I think I want to. The mayor, just like the amount of loans that I put out, and then some of them that you're just throwing out because it's near the end of the window and they're still there, and you just want them to have a contract. But actually, there's like, they look like guys with good potential, like some nice stats, or people that have scouted, and I want them to go to a good team and that kind of thing. Want them to be taken care of. And I've got some like good managers that I loan quite a few players out to, and progression's really good. But for the lower level guys, maybe I just want to kind of take ownership and have them all in one team, ready for me to manage and try and progress and have a bit of fun with.
Yeah, because you've got some guys loaned out to other people who, have only played like 2 games, 4 games, or whatever a season, which isn't ideal, is it? That's the one thing I like about having more teams, is that you have ownership of the players.
I've said hello to Godzilla that's in the Discord. Oh my god, he's my progression guru. Like, they go to his training and just like +1 every single DM every day. So and so's got a +1. So and so's got a +1. Brilliant. Yep. Top man for loans.
Yeah. And Hood, as a point of clarification, like when I say that, like I spend the time to figure out a formation, like what I'm talking about I'm looking for the attacking width, the depth, and the compactness based on the formation. Like, that's all I'm talking about. Those are the only things that can really typically translate over, because with the amount of time I've been doing it, and this is the work you kind of put in throughout the course of the season and the off season, like I'm actually looking for specific guys that do similar things at each level, right? So it creates more of a farm system that goes up for me too. So like if my center mids are similarly statted amongst my bronze team, then when they progress, they'll be good enough to go and still run in the same kind of formation and do the same role in my gold team. And then if the gold guys progress, they'll be able to do the exact same thing in my plat teams. Like, that's kind of how I structure my stuff. So I'm looking for specific guys in certain things, but I'm also with guys that can't do that. I set that compactness, the directness, all those things the same, and then I do the individual tactics based on what they're good at too. So one guy I have, that's my left winger. He doesn't pass the ball very well. Like, he cannot pass the ball to save his life. So we control all of his passes. Like, he doesn't pass. Like, everything is conservative on the passing side. He doesn't shoot very well, but he dribbles great. He creates. He gets into space. So we figure out those kind of things to allow him to do that, right? And so every piece is a little bit different based on where you're going. And so it's just the base of the tactics that go there. Because I agree with you. It is a mix, and not every single setup is going to be the same. So, but when you guys were talking about younger players, like those guys you just throw on a team, David, have you guys been throwing people into the dev center? Because I'm like Big Will, I asked a question, and Big Wilbert basically said, if you go put a guy in to a dev center for 4 seasons, I said, like, what is good progression for them? Like, what is considered good progression? When you look at it, like, the average guy goes up like 4 to 6 throughout the course of their career. So if you're getting anything more than that over the course of a 4-year period, is that good? Like, and that's like, I really wonder like what you guys think about that, because I very clearly put in a 74 into the dev center, and he's coming up on ending his 4th year. I'm curious if I did well for like the 10,000 MFL that was spent on it.
Well, I guess the thing is, with the development center, people inherently put in younger players in there, and younger players often don't get their progression for a few seasons. So the only thing that's guaranteed from like putting players into the dev center is, especially for 4 seasons, they're getting 120 XP, like 120% XP. As for how much they get progression like all time, I've got players in there right now that come out this season that are, just having a look. I've got players that come out this season that are +11. I've also got guys that are, oh no, he's fairly new. I've got guys that are +8 that come out this season. But I had a guy that's in a team this season that came out that was +25 or +24. So, you know, it really depends. But often, like, what I like about the development center is putting younger, lower rated cards in there. One, because it's cheap to put the lower rated cards in there. And two, you know they're guaranteed to be getting 120% XP. I think that I completely understand why you put the higher rated card in there, and it makes sense because you weren't going to use it for the time being. But I think the issue with that is a lot of MFL you're burning through to put him in there just to get 120%, whereas you could probably get close to 100 just by putting him in or loaning him out to a team, and that's then like you're saving that amount of money. So it's really difficult, the development center. And from listening to Matt on the, I think it was the AMA a few weeks ago, it does sound like that's an area that they're looking to improve in the sort of the not too distant future.
So my guy is coming out now. He's 21 right now. He'll be coming out of the dev center. He's gone up like +8. So I have two 21-year-old center backs. Both are essentially +8. They're both at like 81, 82 now. They'll be 22 next season.
I mean, the reality is that
should I be it's great, but should I be a knob and throw them both back into the dev center for 4 more years each just to see what the hell they do? Like,
I mean, like,
could you imagine that
amount of MFL that you'll get?
Could you imagine that waste of MFL? Like, I'm going to win a lot of MFL this season. Like, could you imagine that waste of MFL? Like what if because like peak progression is typically like your prime age is like what, 25, 26. So if they're in the dev center getting 120% at 25 and 26, they're already up to 82. Is there any sort of logic that says, holy crap, like he could run to 90 here if I'm really maximizing everything? Because he's already gotten max amount of, progression. Like he's already at 120% for his first 4 seasons. And then like, do we do it again? Like, do we put him in at 19, take him out at 27 and see what happens?
I mean, if I was getting the amount of MFL that you're getting, then I would definitely
I'm a sick man. Like, oh man, Josh XLS would be pissed. And I even brought this up. Yeah. Oh man.
I'll probably leave in about 5 minutes. My new schedule, I've got to pick up Mark, so but just quickly, I've started using Dev Center a lot more for I don't think I would do it for guys at that level because I think they could easily go out and earn me MFL and help out a friend, I suppose, to improve their team and that kind of thing. But for like loads of guys that I've not got many in, maybe 7 or 8 or something, and they've had nice progression. I think like if you're in it 4 seasons as a youngster, I think if you're getting like 2, 3, 4 over the whole time, even, I think that's great because you're absolutely maximizing their potential, and then you're hoping that they're going to either come out usable or maybe like when they're hitting like 23, 24, they're really kind of close to their max and they're coming out usable in like no big teams. But my guys are all commons, but I'm hoping they'll some come out limited if I'm lucky, or they're grow enough just now. Like I've got like 42 rated guys. They're hard to loan out, but if he comes out at like a 46, 47, maybe I can get him out on loan, which a couple of seasons out on loan, and he starts to get into the early 50s, and like that's obviously great progression for it. That's like well overperforming, but that's kind of the goal with me with my guys that I'm putting in. Just like I'm not expecting big numbers, but I know they're getting the 120%, but I'm not expecting to see it in stats. So like when people say, oh, the dev center's like, I've not noticed anything from a 17-year-old. Well, you're not really going to for most of them at that age. They're just, but
unless he's a superstar, and then you might start to see it fairly quickly.
Right.
But that's right.
So, and this is why this is cool, because I hear what you're saying. Like that makes sense in my eyes. And like what I'm thinking here too is, so I take these 81, 82 guys out and my bronze team moves to silver. I don't have a place to play them. I really don't have a place where they're going to play and maximize. And so what would I need someone that is listening to the pod to do a calculation of, based on the MFL it would cost to put them in, how much progression would I need to get from them to make it worth it?
A lot, I would imagine. But yeah, it would be
But
interesting.
I mean, but it's fair. But I mean, if you but David, if you're on average going up +2 every single season, right, and you're already up to 82, like, who's to say? Like, these are the guys that people like Dio go in and buy, and like he's just going to keep going straight up because he's clearly on a progression track. Like, clearly on a progression track. He's obviously getting better and better every time he goes through.
Yeah.
So, like, is it worth the risk and gamble? And this is a question that just kind of goes out to the community to try it, to experiment. Because quite honestly, I think I might be the only moron in the game that would actually consider trying it. So
I think it might
we'll do this. We'll do this for science, you know. So
right.
I don't know.
Anyway,
But-
Hoodwink's got a dash to pick his wee nipper up in a bit.
Yes.
Or a quick question in Mini Me. Where's the head wrap gone from? That photo is literally the only decent one I could find of me where I didn't look like a complete spanner. And the headscarf here, I'm not going to be able to put it on because I've got no idea how to do it. And that was from Dubai when we were doing a little desert day out last November. But yeah, I will try and take another photo, a decent photo. But for the moment, thumbnails will be me in a headscarf. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. For the people that tune in, thanks for the watchers and the listeners. This will go out as an audio version. Thanks to Bob for joining us in our first ever live stream. Thanks to Hoodwink, going to pick his wee nipper up in a bit. I hope he's had a good day at school. And we'll be back next week. Hopefully things will start to get a bit smoother. We might even have intro music and stuff like that rather than just appearing out of the abyss. And we'll try and do some giveaways next week. Now we've worked out that actually we can go live. It is possible for old guys to get live. But yeah, anything from you guys before we get out of here?
Good luck for the rest of the season. I guess that'll be finished by next week. I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, the last game of the season next week, won't it? Is it Tuesday or Wednesday? But yeah.
Battles.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm in Diamond and Platinum by the time you guys videotape the next episode. We'll see what happens. So,
I'll be watching your games, Bob. I'll be following your progress anyway.
Oh man, you know what? I messaged Kev because I don't watch those games. Like, can you just tell me when the game's over so I can just go click on it and see like what the final score is? Like, I have like that's like a message to you guys too. Like, if you guys are watching my games, just message me when it's over so I can just go and just get it over with. Because I just don't like watching it.
To be fair, I don't watch my games live either. I like watching them like I'll wait 10 minutes until it's finished, then watch it on 1.5. Just because otherwise the players move too slowly for me. It's like I can't take this. Like, especially important games.
I have no problem. So I really enjoyed watching you fight for relegation last season. I really enjoyed watching Hoodwink's team in silver because it's always a fight and every match means so much, but it's not my team. So I can cheer like out loud for guys. So I watch them, like,
watching other people.
It's so different. I watch Cavs teams play all the time. Like, what is happening? This is fantastic. And like, it's being a fan. And it's so much better than watching my own matches. There's a big difference between the amount of money you put in, the amount of fun you have watching your teams, and I think it goes down. You know, the more money you put in, the less fun it is watching your teams. But that's just me. I'm weird, you know. But
we've got to get out of here, Bob. Anyway, because I can feel like Hoodwink's getting it. Wanting to go and pick his wee nipper.
Yeah, the misses in the background.
Right.
Yep.
So
right,
we'll
guys.
be back next week. Like and subscribe, listeners and viewers. Please, like, help us get this channel off the ground. We'll be back streaming tomorrow with a So Rare stream and with a surprise guest. So we shall see you next week. Thank you very much.